Welcome back to another walkthrough. This is our last Word walkthrough. Next walkthrough we will start with Excel. This is one of our more in-depth assignments, so let's get started. First, let's go ahead and download your materials. Let's go to our Chapter 12 Grader project. Download our materials. Do not click on the download all files. It'll download a zip file. It makes things a little bit more difficult. Go ahead and just click on the individual download buttons. So we're going to download the instructions, our student file. We can go ahead and download the WISP theme, imagination bullet, park letter, ride, and imagination brief. And then go ahead and print up your instructions so you have them in front of you. And we'll go ahead and open up our student file. Alright, for step one, it wants us to do some renaming, but we're just going to go ahead and work out of the downloads folder. So it says in outline view, assign level 1 to all paragraphs formatted with bold. Let's go to our view tab here. And from our view tab, let's click on the outline under views. And under outline view, it wants us to assign level 1 to all paragraphs formatted in bold. So let's go ahead and highlight imagination parks. And right here where it says body text, click the down arrow and click level 1. And let's go ahead and highlight featured exhibits. And where it says body text, click the down arrow, do level 1. And then lastly for special events, highlight special events. And you can go ahead and assign it to a level 1. Now it wants us to assign a level 2 to all of the remaining paragraphs. We'll go ahead and highlight fun with math and science, and we'll assign that to a level 2. Go ahead and highlight space and rockets all the way down to outdoor laboratory, and then go ahead and assign level 2. And then same thing under special events, we're going to highlight all of it from daily shows all the way down to series, down arrow, and assign a level 2. So we are now done with this. So let's go ahead and close our outline view. It wants us to show all properties and make sure we have our different tags. So let's go ahead and hit the File tab here. And from the File tab, let's come over here to our Show All Properties. And then under Tags where it says Add a Tag, let's type in Imagination. Make sure you spell it correctly, comma, space, outline. And in the subject box, let's type in CGS. And then under author, if it says Go Series, right click on Go Series, hit Remove Person. And then where it says Add an Author, just go ahead and type in your name. And let's go ahead and save our file. Once we've saved it, go ahead and close out of it. Just go ahead and close out of Word altogether. So now we want to start PowerPoint. So we'll come down here to our Start menu. And we'll scroll down until we find PowerPoint. Now under PowerPoint, we want to open up that document we were working on. You can open up a Word document within a PowerPoint document. So we're going to come over here and we're going to click on Open. And from Open, we're going to go to our Downloads folder because that's where we downloaded our full stuff. So we'll come here to our Browse button. And we'll browse to our Downloads folder. But notice for me, nothing is showing up because we are trying to open up a PowerPoint presentation. So I need to hit the down arrow where it says Format Type right here. And we're going to select All Files. And now a whole bunch of files will show up. we want to find our student chapter 12 file. So it's this one right here for me. For you, it should say your name, Go 16 Word Chapter 12, and then hit open. And give it a few minutes. It'll take a second to open up, and here it is. Notice that for each level 1 heading that we created is now its own separate slide, and then the level 2 headings that we created are all underneath. Alright, now that we have this opened up, we are going to save this as Imagination Presentation. So let's hit the File tab and Save As. And let's go ahead and just save this in our Downloads folder. And let's give it a name of your last name underscore your first name underscore Imagination Presentation. And then hit the Save button. It wants us to change the theme to Wisp. So we'll come up here to our Design tab. From our Design tabs under Themes, let's click the down arrow with the line above it. And let's hover over these until we find the Wisp theme. And here it is. It's the second row down, first column, Wisp. Let's go ahead and click on Wisp. And make sure your slide 1 is selected from our slide selector here, Imagination Parks. And let's go ahead and change this to a title slide layout. So let's come up to our Home tab here. And under our slides grouping, let's click on Layout. And we'll change this to a title slide layout. Now it wants us to display the header and footer dialog box. So we'll come up here to our Insert tab. From our Insert tab, we'll come over here to our header footer. We'll click on Header Footer. And it says select the footer and select Don't Show on Title Slide. So we'll put a check mark next to Don't Show on Title Slide. In the footer box, so let's put a check mark next to footer here. And let's go ahead and just type in your last name underscore your first name underscore Imagination Presentation. Once you have your footer checked, your file name, and a check mark next to Do Not Show on Title Slide, let's go ahead and hit Apply to All. Let's go ahead and go to our File tab here. Under our File tab, Show All Properties. Under Tags, let's go ahead and type in Imagination Presentation. So Imagination, comma, space, Presentation. Under Subject, type in CGS. And under Author, make sure it has your name. If it doesn't have your name, go ahead and put your name there. Alright, let's go ahead and hit the Save button. And we'll come back to here. So now it wants us to create handouts in Word. Let's go up here to our File tab and let's click on Export. And we are going to create handouts. And then click on Create Handouts. And then we want to select the blank lines next to slide. So blank lines next to slide right here. And I'm going to put a dot next to paste link and then hit OK. And it'll take a couple seconds, but notice how my Word now is flashing. I'm going to click on Word and I'm going to select my newly created document that is a handout. It has the slides next to blank lines. Alright, let's go ahead and save this document. So we'll go ahead and hit the File tab, and we'll hit Save As. We'll go ahead and save it to our Downloads folder, and we're going to give this the name of Imagination Handout. So let's do your last name, your first name, Imagination Handout. And then hit Save. Now it says insert the name of the footer. So we'll come up here and we'll go to our Insert tab. And from our Insert tab, under our Header Footer grouping, we'll click on Footer and Edit Footer. And in our Edit Footer, we're going to add the file name. So let's come up here to our Insert where it says Document Info and hit File Name. And there we are. We have our file name there. And now we want to go to our properties. So let's go to our File tab. And from our File tab over here at our properties, click on Show All Properties. And let's go ahead and add a tag. Let's do Imagination Park and then comma space handout. And make sure in the subject group you type in CGS. And then make sure your name is the author. And let's go ahead and save this. And if your header footer is still open, go ahead and click on Close Header Footer. And now it wants us to close out of this document but leave Word open. So we'll come over here to our File tab and hit Close. Now it says in Word from your student files. So let's go and open up Imagination Brief. So let's come up here to our File tab and let's click on Open. And let's go to Browse. And let's browse to our Downloads folder and let's find the W12G Imagination Brief. So I'm going to scroll down, W12G Imagination Brief, and hit Open. It wants us to hit Enable Editing. And we want to save this as last name 12G Imagination Brief. So let's go to the File tab here and let's Save As. And let's change this from 12G Imagination Brief. Let's do your last name, first name, Imagination Brief. And then hit Save. And we want to insert the file name into the footer. So we'll come up here to our Insert tab. Under our Insert tab, we'll come over to our Footer. And we'll Edit Footer. And under Document Info, we will put in our file name. And then close out of the header footer. It says on page 2, we want to select the paragraph or select the text that's 92NECS 864. So let's go down to our second page and let's highlight this 92CS 864 all the way right here. Let's highlight this. And once this is highlighted, we want to mark the citation. So we'll come up here to our References tab. And right here under Table of Authorities, it says Mark Citation. Let's go ahead and click on Mark Citation. And we want to mark this as a regulatory category. So right here where it says Category Cases, let's change this to Regulations. And go ahead and hit Mark. And then hit Close out of that. Now we want to highlight 129 MS Code. So let's highlight 129 MS Code. All the way over to 789. And we're going to mark citation. This time we're going to mark this as a statute. So where it says regulations, let's go ahead and make this a statute. And hit mark. And we can go ahead and close out of this. And now we want to go to page 3 and let's highlight Port Santa Maria Williamson. And let's click on Mark Citation. This is going to be a case, so let's select Cases and hit Mark. And then hit Close. Alright, so now that all of those are marked, we want to go to the bottom of page 1. So let's go ahead and highlight to page 1. And if you don't have them turned on already, make sure you turn on your paragraph marks. Go to your Home tab here and make sure you turn on your paragraph marks so we can see all of our different paragraph marks. And it wants us to position our insertion point to the right of the date. So we'll go ahead and put our cursor to the right of the date, and it wants us to hit Control Enter 2 times. So hold down your Control key and hit Enter, and then hold down the Control key and hit Enter again. So you want to hit Control Enter 2 times. And now we have a brand new blank page 2. So now it says on page 2, position our insertion point to the left of the page break. So we'll put our cursor right here to the left of our page break. And we're going to type in Table of Authorities in all caps. Once you've typed in Table of Authorities in all caps, hit Enter 2 times. Then select our Table of Authorities. We're going to change the font size to 16. And we are going to bold and center. Now we want to position our insertion point to the left of the page break. So let's go ahead and put our cursor to the left of the page break. And we're going to insert a table of authorities using the formal format. So let's come up here to our References tab. From our References tab, under Table of Authorities, let's click on Insert Table of Authorities. And under Format, where it says From Template, let's select the Formal. And also make sure that Use PASM is check marked, which it should be. And then hit OK. And then now notice how we have those 3 things that we marked placed here on our Table of Authorities. Now we need to go to our Document Properties. Let's go to the File tab here. And from our File tab, under Show All Properties, let's click on that. And under Add a Tag, let's type in Legal, comma, space, Park Trademark. In the subject box, type in CGS. And then under Author, if it says Go Series, right click on Go Series, hit Remove Person, and then go ahead and add your name as the author. And let's go ahead and save our document. Alright, now that we're done with the properties, it's time to save this again just for good measure. And then go ahead and hit File and Close. Now we want to open up our park letter. So we're going to come up here to our File tab. And from our File tab, we're going to go to Browse. And under our Downloads folder, let's find our park letter. And hit Open. And then hit Enable Editing. Alright, so the first thing we want to do is to save this. So we're going to come up here to our File tab and hit Save As. And we want to save this with our last name, first name, 12G Park letter. So we can just go ahead and put our cursor right here in front of this 12 We can get rid of the W and just type in your last name and first name. So we're going to have last name, first name, 12G Park letter. Go ahead and hit save right here. Let's go ahead and put our file name in the footer. So we'll come up here to our Insert tab. We will come to our header footer group, click on Footer, Edit Footer, and we're going to put our file name in from Document Info and File Name, and then close our header footer. So now it wants us to select the first 4 paragraphs. So it wants us to select this right here, Magical Park Corporation, all the way down to the phone number. And we're going to change the font size to 18. So we'll go to the Home tab. Under our font group, change it from 11 to 18. We also want to bold and center. So we'll hit bold and center. It says with all the 4 paragraphs still selected, we want to change our spacing to expanded by 1.5. To do this, we're going to come up here to our font group. From our font group, let's go ahead and click on this little guy right here, which is our font dialog box. Go ahead and hit the Advanced tab. And where it says spacing normal, let's change it to expanded and change it to 1.5. And then hit OK. And now we'll expand our text right here and make it look a little bit more space in between our words. Now it wants us to select the 7 paragraphs that begin with the featured exhibit. Then we'll come down here, and here it is, the featured exhibit. We'll highlight this entire thing. It wants us to change the font size to 14. And we'll come up here to our font group, hit this down arrow and select 14. Then we want to select, so just deselect by clicking off, and we want to select Space and Rockets all the way down to Outdoor Laboratory. And we want to apply bullets. So come up here to the paragraph grouping and click on the bullets icon right here. In the paragraph that begins our parks, so let's go ahead and come down here. Here's our parks, here's the phone number. It wants us to use a non-breaking hyphen and a non-breaking space. I'm going to zoom in on this a little bit. So this right here is the non-breaking, this is where we want to have the non-breaking space, and this is where we want to have the non-breaking hyphen. To do this, go ahead and highlight just this space in between the parentheses and the 5. And then we'll come up here to our Insert tab. And from our Insert tab, we'll come over here to our Symbols grouping. We'll click on Symbol and More Symbols. Click on Special Characters. And select a non-breaking space right here. And hit Insert. And Close. Notice how that dot changed to from a solid dot to a circle. Now go ahead and select just this hyphen right in between the 5 and the 6. Again, come up here to the Symbol, More Symbols. Under Special Characters, we're going to do a non-breaking hyphen and hit Insert and Close. So now if this were to be at the end of a line where it would normally move down, this means that it will not break up this phone number. It will all stay as one phone number, as one number on the same line. So now for step number 19, we want to position the insertion point to the right of the paragraph that begins the featured exhibit. So I'm going to come up here to the featured exhibit. I'm going to put my cursor right here at the end of the colon. And I want to insert a picture. So I'm going to go back up here to the Insert tab and click on Pictures. I'm going to go to my Downloads folder. From my Downloads folder, I'm going to select I'm going to select the W12G Ride. and hit insert. And this very large picture comes into our document. I'm going to go ahead and zoom out a little bit more. I'm going to go ahead and zoom out so we can see it better. And with the picture selected, it wants me to display the artistic effects gallery. So I'm going to come up here to my Format tab, under my Adjust, where it says Artistic Effects. Click on Artistic Effects, and I want to select the Glow Edges, which is the last artistic effect right here. Now I want to change the text wrapping, so I'm going to come over here to this little icon next to my picture. I'm going to click on Layout Options, and where it says with text wrapping, I'm going to select the first option that says square. It also wants me to change the shape height, so I'm going to come up here to my size grouping, and I'm going to change the height to 1.6 and hit enter. And it's going to make my picture a little bit more manageable. However, it is in the wrong spot. We're going to change that. So now we're going to come back over to this little icon, the layout options, and go down to See More. From See More, we are going to change our alignment right relative to the margin. And our absolute position is going to be 3.7 below the margin. And once we hit OK, that picture is going to flip-flop like a politician right over here to the other side of the page. Now we want to change our bullets. In Word, we can use our own pictures as bullets. So let's go ahead and highlight Space and Rockets all the way down to Outdoor Laboratory. To change the bullets to pictures, we're going to come up to our paragraph grouping. We're going to click the down arrow right here next to bullets, and we are going to define new bullet. And I'm going to bullet character. I'm going to go to picture, and from file I'm going to browse, and here it is under my downloads folder, my imagination bullet. I'm going to click on that and hit insert and hit OK. And now notice that I will have pictures instead of the actual dots. Alright, so now we want to display the document properties. I'm going to go to the File tab, and I'm going to show all properties, and I'm going to add tags, letters, letter, comma, space, graphics, comma, space, bullets. And in the subject, I'm going to type in CGS. And under author, I'm going to right click on Go Series, remove person, and then I'm going to add my name as the author. And we're all done. We're going to hit the save button with this particular document. And I'm going to go ahead and close out of this by hitting the File tab and hitting Close. So now I want to open up my imagination handout. To do this, I'm going to go to my downloads folder, and from my downloads folder I'm going to find my handout. I'm going to open it up, double click on it. If this comes up that says this document contains links, go ahead and hit no. Now I want to copy this entire thing, so I'm going to hold down the Control key and hit A to select all text. I'm going to hold down the Control key and hit C to copy. So now that I've copied this, I can go ahead and exit out of it. Don't save. I'm going to go ahead and open up my imagination brief document. I'm going to go ahead and hold down the Control key and hit End to go to the bottom of the document. I'm going to hold down the Control key and hit Enter. It's going to take me to a new page. I'm going to hold down the Control key and hit V, which will paste the document that I just copied. I'm going to hold down the Control key again and hit Enter to take me down to another blank page. Now I want to open back up my park letter document. So I'm going to go ahead and go back to my Downloads folder. And I'm going to find the Read JSON 12G Park. I want to open that up. I'm going to hold down the Control key and hit A to select the entire document. Hold down the Control key and hit C to copy. I'll go ahead and close out of this. And then back in my imagination brief, on that last page, on that paragraph mark, I'm going to hold down Control and hit V to paste my letter into the bottom of the document. And then I'm going to go ahead and just scroll through here, take a look. I have my letter here. I have my slides here. And then I have the rest of the brief all the way up. And we are done. We're going to save this file. So we're going to save it as last name, first name, 12G combined. So really, we're just going to go ahead and come up here. I'm going to hit the File button and hit Save As. And at the end of this imagination brief, I'm just going to go ahead and type combined and hit Save. And this is the document that we want to submit. We want to submit the one that says imagination brief combined. So I'm going to go ahead and exit out of this. And I'm going to go back to my downloading materials. I'm going to hit the X here to exit out of that. I'm going to choose my file. I'm going to find my imagination brief combined, hit open, upload, and then submit for grading, and hit close assignment. And now I want to see how well I did. I'm going to go ahead and scroll down to chapter 12. I'm going to hit the three dots and hit view submissions. And it looks like I got a 96.9%. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And I want to scroll down to see what I got wrong. It looks like I made a mistake on marking one of my citations. And that is it. It looks like I only made a mistake marking a citation. Feel free, if you made this mistake, you can go back and correct it. And you can turn this document in for as many times as you like for the best grade possible. If you need to contact me through Canvas. Have a wonderful day. Hey, thanks for watching. If you found this video useful, please like and subscribe to the channel, as I'll be posting new walkthroughs and tech tips each week. Check back regularly for new content, and have a wonderful day.